Hey guys, what is up? We're back with another weekly review of Katekyo Hitman REBORN, and starting with this chapter 89. Basically, is the training that continues on forward. So, if you remember from the ending of 88, after the whole resolve with Gokudera and Dr. Shamal basically saying, yeah, I'm going to help you, but if you mess up, you're gonna die, or I'll, end you, or stuff like that. Then we get to where now Basil is joining in on Suna's training. So Suna did basically the physical training, aka climbing up the side of a cliff to build his endurance and to basically shape his body. So now we have where Basil came into the scene because he was asked by Reborn, and obviously Suna's dad is surveillancing the entire training with everybody preparing themselves for when the Varia finally comes to Japan. So Basil obviously goes into hyper dying will mode, and Suna's just like, I don't want to fight him, because the whole point of him training with Basil is to focus on being in dying will, so he's comfortable enough that when he goes into hyper dying will, it doesn't cause, again, excess strain on his body. Not only that, he has to knock out Basil while he's in dying will form. So as the chapter's going on, we see where Suna and Basil is training. Obviously, Basil hits Suna. Before, if he was to hit Suna, Suna would have fainted due to the impact. But because of his prior training, aka the cliff, his body's able to endure. Of course, he's still going to feel the pain, because it's just like, bro, I just got the wind knocked out of me. And I got punched into pure rocks, which should have scratched, and he should have been poked at, probably stabbed at, but his body was able to endure it. So he gets shot with the dying will, and he's fighting Basil in that form. As they try to say with Suna, while Basil and Suna is fighting, training, Basil is saying that Suna is focusing too much on dying instead of the will to die, meaning that, like, once he has the will, everything else, it should vanish within a few seconds, because remember, Suna's in the dying will form for only 5 minutes. So the fact that he's focusing so much on, like, basically the repercussions of his actions, and he's so strong on that thought alone, meaning, like, if he doesn't do this, he'll regret dying. But Basil is saying that you take that as your staple, and then continue fighting without having to regret it. AKA, he doesn't have the spirit, as they showed in, because Imitsu was watching the ordeal with Reborn. They were talking with each other and everything. Suna lacks the will or the spirit of the dying will in order to stay in it for longer periods of time other than just 5 minutes. So while they're fighting, we get into where they pan off to see Ryohei. No, it was Hibari and Dino first. And of course, the whole point of theirs is Hibari is hard of hearing. He doesn't care. He's just wanting to fight. So Dino is just telling him, you need to protect this ring. It's very important. And of course, knowing Hibari, you breathe next to him or breathe within a circumference of him, he instantly wants to two-piece you on sight. Okay? He wants to fold you. Okay? So he's telling Dino's like, if you don't fight me, I'll just throw this whole ring away, because that's not what's important to me. I just want to beat the brakes off of you. That's enough. That's enough. Dino has everything cut out for him. He's just like, at this point, I'm just gonna have to continue to fight this kid. Like, this kid does not listen. He just doesn't, and that's just Hibari. And when it came to Ryohei and Colonello now, they did say Ryohei, when it comes to his body is naturally strong. Like, his body is something that his body structure and everything, as Colonel was saying, was, you can't get this body naturally. You probably will have to work your butt off to get the type of body that Ryohei has, which he was born with. It's very strong. But the problem with Ryohei is he abuses his body. as we all know, ever since his introduction, he's always seen training or inviting people to train with him to practice and everything. And the whole point of this mini training arc that they have to do within 10 days before the Varia comes to Japan is to prepare themselves. And for Ryohei, it's to relax. Of course, he still questions Colonel and saying, we did 2 days work of just nothing but pure relaxation. And that's what Ryohei, out of everybody, because not everybody in the group doesn't train as much as Ryohei. And personally, I believe, just looking back on this, Ryohei, to me personally, should be stronger than Hibari. I know Hibari is the fighting maniac, but this chapter showed me that if Ryohei stays with the training that Colonel does, where he does train his body, but he allows himself to rest, physically wise, I truly believe he is better than Hibari. Of course, technicality is different. He's more of like the guy that rushes in and doesn't really analyze the problem. But truth be told, in a physical, straight up, if there's no like actual abilities or like, in this sense, just craving for fights, I really give it, if it was between Ryohei and Hibari, I truly would give it to Ryohei. Okay, because it was shown that Colonello saying, okay, I'm going to shoot you with a special bullet, as they explained that each arquebeleno, or every little baby, has a special bullet depending on their ability, right? So Colonello shoots Ryohei with this special bullet, blasting him off into a rock side. Okay, it doesn't injure him or anything, but he's like, oh, I get it now, because the thing is, Ryohei is not the brightest bulb of the group, okay? So you have to kind of show it to him in a way so he can understand, instead of just telling him and him trying to absorb it in his head. So once he kind of shot him with his own rifle, with his special bullet, the whole point of it was that Ryohei has to visualize now looking like a rifle. So he pivots his right foot, he pulls back his right arm or his left arm, kind of like a trigger, and then he strikes the boulder in front of him, because before he couldn't do it. He's like, yo, this is impossible. And then after being shot and everything, and he does that, you see the entire boulder, once he hits it with his fist, explode. Okay, and it's like, yeah, that's how you do it. Once you allow yourself to relax, your muscles, basically with the elasticity and everything, after wear and tear, anybody that goes workout, or even when you are in PE, right, what they do first before they start any activities, you stretch. And after you do the activity and everything, you don't go back and do it again or go back the next day. Let your muscles rest, because they are repairing. There are small tears within your muscles because they were stretched or used in a way that they were never used before. But once you allow them to heal, aka take a day or two off, you may not see the results instantly, but you will feel your body slightly different. And that was the case for Ryohei. So in a way, that there was some scientific proof to that in this chapter. So after that, they're even closer than ever. Like, Colonel is really the best teacher for Ryohei in this entire series, other than Reborn and Suna, of course. We now are in Italy, and everyone is like, they're rejoicing because they got the rings and everything. And then we have where Squalo comes in, and he's like, hey boss, you got the rings and everything, where's my reward for getting them? And instantly Zanzis takes Squallow's head and bashes it into the table, like, bro, this man means business. And he's like, these rings? And he took the ring, they couldn't connect, the half rings couldn't connect, and then he was able to squeeze it, and it crushed between his fingers. And he's like, all right, we're going to Japan, and we're going to obliterate the people that, gave us the fake rings. And obviously he also knows Imitsu. So Imitsu now, I don't know how he's going to tell Suna and all of this, but now that they know that the rings are fake, 5 days has passed already, and technically they only have 5 more days until the whole showdown happens between the 10th generation and the Varia. Okay, the chapter does end off on a pretty how you say, a cliffhanger, because obviously they're back home. Suna and the crew is back home and they're eating dinner, and Suna's like, yo, my body hurts and everything, but there is the looming threat that now, since Zanzas has found out that the rings that they got, that Squall was supposed to retrieve, are fake, they're now going to travel to Japan to get the real ones. And they did mention that Zanzas is the son of the 9th. So, you know, he's fighting for legitimacy to take it from the 10th. AKA also, you know, extinguishing Suna and his entire family and friends in order to get the rights, which he believes is his, due to him being the 9th son and becoming the 10th head of the Bongola. So, you know, it's like, it's family ordeal, it's like bloodline ordeal type stuff, and Suna's in this entire mess and he didn't want no parts, but now he's going to be fighting he's fighting a family member. This one, that's what's going to happen. He's fighting the son for a spot that he does not want, and he's bringing everyone that he cares about into this mess unintentionally. Okay, so do tell me in the comments below how you felt about chapter 89. If you saw the anime version of it, how do you feel about it? What were some things you were able to take away from it? Some things that stayed the same in the anime, or things that have changed, things that may have been replaced, or, well, it's going with change. Things that were probably completely omitted. Okay, those who are new to the series, do tell me how you felt about this chapter, also aka the anime version as well. But if you are a long-time fan, how do you feel about coming back and reading this chapter, and what were you able to pick out from it after giving a second, third, fourth, whatever, how many times you've read it? And the links are in the description box, so you guys go check that out. And I'm Kimi-chan of Anime Legends, and I will see you guys later. Bye.